Alrighty. So then if you can just, yeah, if you see that we're live, just send me the link.
Will do.
And I can tweet this out.
Oh shit, what up?
BJ!
Oh, BJ, how's it going?
It's going alright, how you guys doing?
We're streaming on SNG.
Alright, what you streaming?
We're gonna talk a little bit about, the, what's called, D&D stuff. Because we're gonna be, we're gonna be streaming, we're starting a campaign, tomorrow night, and we're gonna be streaming it on SNG, so this is kind of like, you know, a little bit, I guess, like a prelude, kind of like talking a little bit about what to expect, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. I know nothing about D&D, and I probably will never get into it, so...
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, more specifically, we're talking about a campaign module called Curse of Strahd.
Alright. Okay, then I'll leave you guys to it, then.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Alrighty. Okay. And bleh, defeated. And hello there, Crystal Stargirl.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think for the most part, like, we can officially, I think, probably, like, get started talking when Jordan gets here.
Yep.
Yeah, because we can't...
He is the Dungeon Master.
Yeah, we need our DM.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, how's your day?
I mean, I'll be probably leaving for work in about, like, half an hour.
Ah, okay.
And apparently, Wario is now trending.
Why is Wario trending?
Because reviews for WarioWare Get It Together are coming.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I mean, it's like, my god, I've been freaking bombasted with ads for that damn game.
Yeah. Two men, two mustaches. The Movember battle has begun. Dr. Eggman versus Mario. Wario, shave yourself the embarrassment, Eggman. Maybe spend time grooming that stash instead of capturing woodland creatures.
Alrighty. Jordan, where are you?
We need to talk to Dins. We have vampires. I was trying to get a PS5, but the Direct screwed me over again for the third time or fourth time. Shit.
I know, that's where it's like... I don't quite understand why it's been so damn difficult for our PlayStation 5s to get out there. Because I've heard all kinds of things, and I have no idea which is true or not. Like, a big one that I was hearing about was, like, I guess apparently, like, COVID impacted, like, when it came to, like, some, like, manufacturing things. Like, when we're talking, like, I think it's, like, some of, like, the chips or something that normally goes into the consoles. Apparently, there's a shortage of them. And
here. Hello.
Hey! There we go.
Yeah, I went to get some water. Sorry about that.
Ah, no problem.
Boy!
No problemo. But, yeah, Jordan, I technically started the stream. We're just shooting the shit right now. We haven't started talking or anything because we were mostly waiting for you to show up. But
Yeah, all right.
yeah, but you know, in the meantime, we were talking more so about like why PlayStation like what's the deal with the PlayStation 5s?
Yeah.
That guy done.
Blue's here too. She's
Yeah.
arguing about something.
Baby.
All right. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, since you're here, Jordan, we might as well get started.
All right.
Alrighty. So I know there's only a couple in here with right now. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we're just gonna mostly just be talking and chilling, and we're mostly gonna be talking about what you see on the screen here. Pretty much, I have mentioned multiple times in the past when we were just kind of like making like character sheets just for fun, and you guys seem to enjoy bringing some Dungeons and Dragons content onto the channel. We just haven't had the opportunity to get anything proper, and with Jordan's permission, we are going to be doing that. So tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I believe it is, Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be starting the Curse of Strahd. And I think, Jordan, maybe you could probably explain a little bit more about Curse of Strahd. Obviously, not going too much into detail and like for spoilers and such, but tell us a little bit about the game.
All right. I even have the book with me just in case.
You have Claritin downstairs. No.
All right. So, the Curse of Strahd is a gothic horror campaign. It's widely regarded to be one of the most celebrated modules for Dungeons and Dragons because it's a solid adventure, and I figured it would be a good stepping off point for us. While the characters don't know it yet, so the party is basically trapped in a land called Barovia. It's a demi-plane where this vampire named Strahd von Zarevich rules. And, obviously things have gotten really, really bad, and it's the party's job to stop him. Or die trying. This module really leans into gothic horror and dark fantasy tropes, and I read through it a couple times, front to back, and noticed that there are a few things that are a little meh, so my aim is to provide a good experience for not just the players, but for everybody watching, and for the players who are familiar with it, one of our party members especially, probably the one who's the most excited to play it, I hope to surprise them as well. And okay, I'm gonna let Blue out. She's meowing at me.
No problem. But like what Jordan said, so this is a module, and by module, for those of you watching who are not familiar with that terminology, so when you play Dungeons and Dragons, you're either playing modules or you're playing homebrew. Homebrew is the dungeon master this is their own creation, so their own world, their own magic system, gods, hierarchy, you name it. It's all created, and it's all custom. A module is an adventure that is officially made by Wizards of the Coast, and there's tons of modules out there. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons has been around for a very long time, so there's tons of modules out there. But yeah, like Jordan said, Curse of Strahd has a reputation of being one of, if not the best one out there. And that's where I know I'm looking forward to this because, I mean, yeah, again, I'm still very new to Dungeons and Dragons. I've only been playing for over a year, and it's, been with these guys here. And,
Hello.
and all we've been playing, be it campaign or one-shots, like everything that I've played has been homebrew. I have never played like an official module. So this is the first time that we're playing an official module, and I'm stoked.
Yeah. Another thing that we're incorporating into Curse of Strahd, because um, since the adventure does lean heavily on dark fantasy, we are also going to employ our own homebrew rules to make it a fresher experience and also to elevate it more. So there's actually a 5e supplement out there done by Ghostfire Gaming called Grim Hollow, and it's perfect for dark fantasy. It even has its own set of sub rules, which I should have written down somewhere.
Yeah, like, yeah. I think this is actually a good time to talk about what we're going to be doing differently. Because, like, while yes, Jordan is going to be following Curse of Strahd, because Jordan is going to be our dungeon master. So, while, yes, he is going to be following the adventure, there's going to be a number of things that we're going to be doing very differently. So, to anybody watching who's played Curse of Strahd in the past, or maybe you've watched somebody play it or something, there's going to be we are going to be doing a number of things differently to kind of make it a little bit more unique, especially for us. And and one of them is, we're bringing in Grim Hollow. And Jordan, you're far more knowledgeable on that, so again, you could talk about Grim Hollow.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a 5e campaign setting where your adventures take place in the realm of Etheris. But we're not going to necessarily go to Etheris for this campaign, but rather we're taking rules from it. And some of these rules are things like stabilization, concentration checks, bleeding. Bleeding is a big one.
Oh my god, okay. Oh my god. I know all too well about that one. Okay, just sorry to derail on this one, but a couple of weeks ago we did a one shot taking place in the world that Jordan is currently writing his graphic novel in, and my character was the only one that fucking died in the party. And a big reason behind it, outside of just my own incompetence, because I was playing a druid for the first time, it was the bleeding effect. That is deadly.
Yeah, and what bleeding does is that bleeding creatures cannot regain hit points from spells or abilities. A bleeding creature can only regain hit points by consuming hit dice or completing a long rest. Although the rolling is a little hazy, so I roll it after taking a critical hit at random. So that way, combat encounters, especially if they're of a higher challenge rating, is guaranteed to scare the party in some way or another.
Yeah, so that's where, bleeding is very scary. I can attest to that firsthand. And like I said, that happened to me. I was playing a druid for the first time, so I was playing a class I was very unfamiliar with, and, druids are magic-based class, and much of your magic-based classes are very squishy. They don't have a lot of health, they don't have a lot of armor, so a bleeding effect can take them out.
Yeah. Although, rules aren't the only thing that we're bringing into this. We're also going to bring in their exclusive subclasses. For example, Ricket, our rogue, is playing a Misfortune rogue, which can essentially cast hexes on whoever fails a charisma check. And Dani here is playing Ark, the Aarakocra Barbarian.
It's like, I'm so used to playing magic classes. Now I'm playing a beefy boy.
Yeah, and your subclass is the primal path of the
fractured.
Fractured, yes. Essentially, have you guys ever heard of the Irish mythology story of Cuchulainn? It's that as a class. it involves a lot of warp spasming. You get some proficiencies with hand-to-hand combat, so that's cool.
Yeah. So see, again, I'm not familiar with a lot of your Celtic mythology. So when I was first reading, because Jordan, when he said, when he was telling all of us, go through Grim Hollow and see if anything catches your eye. And when I was trying to decide what class I wanted to be in, I was looking. When I saw that Path of the Fractured Barbarian, my first thought was Incredible Hulk, but far more terrifying. Because normally, like, a big proponent about the Barbarian class is that they go into a rage. And raging gives you all kinds of attack benefits. Usually with Barbarians, like, when you think rage, think like Kratos. Like, Kratos gets pissed and just goes apeshit on everybody. But Path of the Fractured Barbarian, when they go into the rage, it's like, they're, like, parts of their body, like, begin to, like, swell and mass up, and, like, they look like hulking monsters. And that's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah. So who's gonna be in this campaign?
I'm the
Dungeon Master.
Yeah. Actually, hang on. I actually has an image. There we go. So you can see. I just made a quick little image. So this is our cast of characters, and who is playing whom. So so Jordan is gonna be the Dungeon Master. As I said, I am playing the Barbarian. We have Realm Wars, or Brian. He's gonna be our Oath of Glory Paladin.
Hi.
So we have.
Nice.
Yep, we have an Oath of Glory Paladin. Master TP, who's probably popped in maybe once or twice. He's going to be our Cleric. And then everybody else is going to be pretty much brand new to this channel. So we've got, we got Boonslayer, who's going to be a Kensei monk. We've got, what's his face? We got Letter. Yeah,
Letter Sent.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he's going to be our, okay. He's going to be our rogue. And then, I don't know how she wants us to pronounce the name. This is what she goes by on Twitter. Ari Murray?
Yeah, I want to say Ari Murray.
Yeah.
I'm not too clear on that myself.
Yeah,
Ari Murray sounds good, though.
I don't know how she expects it to be pronounced, but yeah, she's going to be our little sorceress. And then we've got Terrace Moon, who's going to be our warlock. So,
in fact, they're in the chat right now. Hi, Jen Rome.
Yes. So Jen Rome in the chat right now. Yeah, that's Terrace Moon. So she's going to be our warlock.
Yeah.
So this is our ragtag group of people that are going to try and take down a vampire.
I have to manage 7 of these guys. It was hard enough with 6 in our previous campaign, The Abode, which we have put on hiatus for the time being. And all I have to say is... but no, it's gonna be lots of fun. I have learned a lot as a DM in the past, say half a year now. I'd like to think that I have a better grasp on certain rulings, like spellcasting being one of them. So
yeah, well,
during our Zero, I was actually able to challenge these guys for once, and that made me happier than you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what, like, what you call it? That being said, before we go more into what else we're going to be changing, let's talk a little bit about what happened with Session 0, because Session 0, we basically took that as like, this is like the prelude. So this is what's gonna, like, okay, what happened that got us like into Barovia? Like, what is kickstarting the adventure? So we actually did this last week. We didn't stream it or anything. So I mean, it was just between us. So that's why I think we kind of have to talk about it just a little bit.
I love these designs. Thank you. I made most of them myself, except for Ari Marie and Letters characters, and Master TPs, obviously, and Boonslayers. I just adapted what they would look like in this campaign, and then kept them consistent.
Yeah, so all these pictures that you see here of the characters, yeah, so Jordan drew all of them.
Yep.
So this is Jordan's art.
Fireballs, Jen. I already told you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're as you are.
Yeah, so this is Jordan's artwork. Shameless plug. Do check him out on Twitter. What you call it? The Kooky Celtic. You can check him out on Twitter. Check him out on Twitch. Guy does good shit. So.
Yeah. In fact, I believe you're also going to be streaming Curse of Strahd alongside SNG, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, so Jordan is going to be handling it on Twitch. So if you want to watch on Twitch, that's the channel you're going to want to watch it on. It's going to be under Jordan's Kooky Celtic channel. Otherwise, on YouTube, it's going to be here on SNG. So we're going to make sure we get it on both ends.
Right. Which is not only a good way to spread this amazing module around, but it's also a guaranteed way for both of us to get our audiences intermingling.
Exactly. All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that being said, all right, so session 0. So a very basic summary of what happened in session 0. Basically, all of us, we were brought together, and this, noble basically told us, hey, we got some merchants that have been disappearing, and we kind of need to know what happened. They got cargo we need. Go out there and figure out what the hell's going on.
Support Jordan, he's cool, and out Pizza the Hut. Yeah, fuck you, Pizza Hut. I quit just so I can be a streamer and a full-time artist.
All right.
But yeah, more specifically, you guys were contacted by Duchess Morwen of the Forgotten Realms town of Daggerford. It's next to another really good module known as Waterdeep. You may have heard of it in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's really good if you want to play a stealth and heist based D&D game. But anyway, they were tasked to check out this shipment that was attacked by some weird creature. They were sent to investigate, and well, they had a little bit more than what they were bargaining for when they finally got to the scene of the crime, so to speak.
Yeah, so, it starts out pretty typical, okay, we find the site, and we find the wagons, we find the cargo, we find a campsite nearby, and we're like, bandits, figures, and, so it's like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. They come out, they try and ambush us, and like, oh, yeah, we got this in the bag, this is gonna be, this is gonna be easy. These ain't no ordinary bandits.
Yeah, one of them is a werewolf, and another is a Dhampir, and they seemed to have welcomed the challenge, as if they were waiting for them to show up.
Yeah, and believe it or not, and again, I think this also really comes to show, how far you've come as a dungeon master, Jordan, is that even though there were 7 of us, it was actually pretty challenging, because it's we weren't overpowered, they weren't too strong, but it was still enough of a challenge, because it was we still kind of had to divide our forces, because there was a decent amount of them, and we had a big strong werewolf that we had to take care of. I mean, we nearly lost the frickin' rogue.
Yeah. Which, doesn't really help because his HP is 15. Exactly.
Yeah, the rogue, I think the rogue was brought down to 1 or 2 hit points or something before our cleric was able to heal him. But it's oh my god, the game hasn't even started yet, and we could have already had lost somebody. That's how crazy it got.
Thank God half of you are healers. Actually, no, more than half of you, because we have Brian here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, so we end up taking them all out. I finish off the werewolf, and we end up finishing off all the bandits, and then the leader, the Dampier.
Yeah, Mihai is his name.
Thank you. I couldn't remember what his name was. So Mihai pretty much like the entire time, like even when we killed the freaking werewolf, he was like Emperor Palpatine. He was like, good. He's having the time of his life. But pretty much like with his last breath, he pretty much says, there's a new challenge waiting for you, and we invite you, and that's in Barovia. And that's pretty much how the story's beginning. So it's like, okay, that we know about this challenge in Barovia, so now it's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna see what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And when we start, we're going to go back to Daggerford because they're turning in their proof of their labors, essentially. And there's actually an informant from Barovia that Morwen is accustomed to that could give them more details about what to expect. So, yeah.
Yep. So that is basically what happened, and that's what's kickstarting the adventure. So tomorrow night, that's how we're going to be starting. We're going to be starting at a dinner party, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be interesting. But yep, now that you guys are more or less caught up with how that started, so I guess we could talk a little bit more about some other things you can expect in this game. So, like we said, we're bringing in elements from Grim Hollow, so subclasses, races, new rules, spells. Lots
advanced weaponry.
Yeah, advanced weaponry, magic items, you name it. We're going to be bringing in a bunch of those elements. So if you're very familiar with the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and if you're watching this, you're going to be like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? Chances are likely it's Grim Hollow.
Yeah. Another thing that Grim Hollow introduces is transformations. So, hey, you want to play as a werewolf? Now you can, with more additional rules and downsides. Things like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Alrighty, so there is that. I do know, and again, Jordan, you don't have to go into too much detail if you don't want to, go into spoiler territory and stuff, but from what I remember reading, or not really reading, from what I've been hearing about Curse of Strahd, because again, I'm trying not to look too much into Curse of Strahd because I still want to be very surprised. But
thank you.
Yeah, but from what I'm aware of and from what you guys were saying in the chat, there is a group of people in Curse of Strahd known as the Vistani. They play a very big role in the game. The downside, if anything, really is that these are people. They're based on they're based on the negative stereotype of gypsies and of the Romani people. And yeah, you did not feel very comfortable about that. So, can we talk a little bit about how we're going to be handling the Vistani in this campaign?
Yeah. Essentially, we're going to remove all of their ties to something called the Evil Eye, which essentially allows them to cast dark magic and hexes and curses and all that. Because while the Romani people did practice some form of potion making, it's mostly to help people. The Romani are also a group of nomads that travel not in groups of random people they just happen to take on the road. No, they all consider themselves family. So that's how I'm going to portray the Vistani in this campaign. We're just going to make them, people. People who want to help roadside travelers, help them get back on their feet, give them hints whenever they need it. Just make them decent people and remove any negative stereotyping that their real world counterparts have.
Mm-hmm.
Because, funny thing, there has been a reissue of Curse of Strahd recently. I have the older version, but the number one, made an effort, quote unquote, to get rid of some of those stereotypes, like even down to going to Romani consultants for how they would want them to be portrayed, and apparently they did a shit job with it. So I'm like, you know what? Instant rewrite.
Well, so they did a shit job like with this new one, or is it
the new portrayal of the Vistani specifically? Because they were aware of the how the public didn't really feel comfortable with their portrayal, especially the Romani people, and you know, obviously they didn't do a very good job. So I'm like, I think it's better if we just portrayed them as normal people.
Yeah, because
no magical stereotypes involved.
Yeah, because like again, like I said, I'm not looking too much into Curse of Strahd because I still want to be very surprised because this is the first time I'm playing through. It's just from what it sounds like from like even when we were talking in the Discord chat, it really sounded. It was like the Vistani. It was like if you've seen Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, the way Frollo saw the gypsies, that was the Vistani, and that's like, oh, yikes.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, so like every bad thing that Frollo said about the gypsies, yeah, that was the Vistani. And it was like, ooh, yeah, that's not gonna sit very well.
So, obviously it's not one-to-one Romani, but I, played them as respectfully as possible. Did we add more locations to Barovia? We'll see. But my main thing is I want to stick as close as I can to the book, while also changing as we go along in ways that I think would elevate it more. Because by itself, the core book is fine. It's just, it needs a few tweaks to be, really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, okay. Oh, another big thing. Now, this is probably more so personally for our group. And, so whenever we've played Dungeons and Dragons in the past, be it with the Abode campaign or with the one-shots, we always played by what is known amongst, players as theater of the mind. Which is just a fancy way of saying, use your imagination, you stupid idiot. But, that being said, though, we're actually going to be playing by maps, which is actually how you're supposed to play Dungeons and Dragons. Because a lot of these modules and stuff, they come with maps. And, this is where it's like, if you watch, like, Critical Role, for example, like, when they're doing, like, role-playing and stuff, it's theater of the mind, but especially when it comes to combat, that's when you start seeing, like, boards coming out, and that's where you have...
Boards, miniatures.
Yeah, boards. Yeah, and, that's when they bring that out. And we are going to be, finally, using some maps, so this is going to be a first for our group, because, like I said, we never used maps, but we're going to this time. That being said, so a bulk of the stream, it's going to, our playing, we're going to be doing this on, Roll20. So that's like, for those who don't know what that is a website that, again, you can play not just Dungeons and Dragons, but just like any tabletop game. But you can import maps. You can make like little tokens that are more or less figures, and we can set things up and like visually see. Okay, we are here. Bad guy there. NPC there. If there's magic effects going on or something, like I know, for example, Brian, because he's playing a paladin. Paladins, I know, they get aura effects when they level up. And aura effects are basically like, anybody who's close to him within like 30 feet or something, he can give them some kind of a buff automatically, just because they happen to stand next to him. Roll20 can actually show like, oh, he's activated the aura, so now we can actually see it. And so basically, there's going to be a lot more visual stuff for you guys to watch, because usually I know, like, in the past, whenever we've done any kind of Dungeons and Dragons stuff, because it's been like theater of the mind, it was always kind of a thing, like, yeah, put this on in the background and listen to it if you want to, like, go do something else and just listen to what we're doing, because we don't have much to show. We're gonna have some things to show this time around.
Yeah, well, show other than my own art, but
Mm-hmm.
I learned very quickly that it's very physically taxing to make art for every single important NPC, like, down to even the insignificant ones. So I was like, okay, let's step back a bit. Let's just do art for the party, and that's it. So it's a lot more streamlined. Also, if you don't believe us with how important maps are for D&D, especially for Curse of Strahd, I don't know if you can hear this, but the original book came with things like a deck of cards and also an entire map of the Kingdom of Barovia, as well as Strahd's castle, Ravenloft. And Ravenloft is freaking massive.
Really?
Like, yeah, there's like, hang on. It's like 360 feet tall, and there's like so many different rooms. Like, it goes up to, like, I think, I want to say, yeah, 50 diagrams.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, 50 diagrams. So it's gonna be massive, and I pray that Roll20 can handle all of that, because I know that the more files you put into its system, it will start crying because it's taking samples from your video card to display everything. So we won't be going to Ravenloft right away because that's stupid.
I kind of
That's
hope
literally the final destination of your journey. So yeah, we're gonna save Ravenloft for when it's really appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, maps more than ever are going to be important here, so that's why we made the jump to Roll20. There's also, like, things like key art to really help set the scene. Like, I'll not only DM it to you guys, but I'll also show it on the stream whenever it's appropriate. But yeah, Curse of Strahd is a very visual-based adventure, simply because it's horror-based. And what's scarier than seeing something that's lumbering towards you?
And my own personal wolves are barking.
Yeah.
I do not know why. They just are.
Oh yeah, wolves are native to Barovia too. There's lots of them.
Yeah, I just have loud, fluffy ones.
Yeah. Not dangerous. Very fluffy, though. Whenever I think of Critical Role, I can't not think of Willow73 at AOL.com. What?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Critical Role, but even I don't know what that means.
That's okay. Alrighty.
I guess another thing, speaking of Critical Role, is that, whenever people talk about D&D, usually we go into mentioning Critical Role in some way or another.
It's kind of nowadays. It's kind of hard not to talk about D&D and not bring up Critical Role in some fashion, because, like, these guys have done so much for bringing this game into, like, the forefront.
Yeah, and the main thing is that they were just playing D&D like everybody else. Like, it wasn't staged, it wasn't fabricated. It was just them, front to back, playing a game together as friends.
Also helps that they're really damn good voice actors, so they can, like, really help. They can really help, like, set the scenes.
Exactly. So, it was some character they brought up for a VPN sponsor. Oh, shit. But no. We're not trying to be Critical Role, because no one can be Critical Role.
Yeah,
Critical Role.
yeah, I know. It's like, you can't. I mean, there's gonna be some things we'll take beats from, obviously, but for the most part, I mean, it's like, again, you know, we're just gonna have fun, like, in our own way. Like, I think, like, because I'm trying to think, did Critical Role also start the whole, like, you know, okay, when you go kill an enemy, you know, yeah, how do you want to do this? Just go ahead and describe how you killed this thing, since you're the one getting the final hit.
Yeah. I've been kind of doing something a little different, so sometimes I'll occasionally say, how do you want to do this? But sometimes I'll say something like, okay, so how do you slay the dragon? Or, okay, how does this wolf get skin? Or something like that. Like, really stupid one-sentence one-liners, just so it's a different brand, but it also gets the same message across.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like, as far as, then as far as, voice acting goes, again, we're not professional voice actors by any means, so don't take us too seriously. You know, don't get me wrong, we are going to do some voices. Like, Jordan's definitely doing voices because as a dungeon master, he plays all the characters.
I play every single NPC and every single enemy that they fight.
Yeah, so so the rest of us, we only play one character. Jordan, he has to play like 100. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like
my job as a dungeon master.
yeah, so he kind of has to dabble a little bit into voice acting just so we can properly differentiate one NPC from another, you know. But again, some of us, you know, are going to like dabble like in accents or something. It's just, again, don't take us too seriously. Especially, for example, don't take me too seriously, because you see my big beefy bird. There's no way in hell I can make myself like give myself like a really like deep gruff voice. It's not possible. I mean, it's like I will attempt, but it's not going to be good. Like, because honestly, like I guess in my head, like my head canon, like the type of voice I expect, like it, like for my character. If any of you have seen the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, basically like the low, like gravelly voice that you usually hear from a Skeksis. That's the kind of voice that I expect to come out of Ark. And like I said, that's very hard to do because that's a very low voice, and you know, I can only go so far.
Right. And same thing for me. Like, my vocal register only goes as high and low as I'm physically allowed to be. I can do some voices pretty well, but I can also do some voices a little better. So, we're not trying to be Shakespeare, but we're also just trying to have fun. Dani, why is your D&D character Cthulhu? That has to do with her primal path that she chose for her barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, it's like, and now, again, like, yeah, that's mostly because of the primal path. Now, the funny thing, so, with my character specifically, when I was creating him, I gave Jordan some breadcrumbs. Like, okay, I'm thinking maybe something like this, maybe a little bit of this. And I'm like, Jordan, go nuts with it. So, because a big thing with my character specifically is, there is a mystery as to, so why can he turn into like this, like, hulking monster when he rages? Like, what happened to him that has caused this? And that's going to be a big personal mystery for the character. And I can tell you for a fact that I don't know all the details because, like I said, I only came up with some breadcrumbs and gave that to Jordan, and he's going to fill in the rest. So, I mean, for one thing, it's a nice challenge for him, but most importantly, you're going to get a genuine reaction from me. So, assuming that my character survives, you know, when we get to being like, oh, it's time to now go into his backstory and actually learn what the hell happened to him, Yeah, this is gonna be brand new to me because I have no idea what Jordan is cooking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I purposefully did it that way, because I was like, yeah, I want to be surprised. Because I know there's people that when they create characters, they want specific things to happen. They want specific details, and they work with their DM, to do all that. I'm kind of the opposite, because I did this even with the abode, with my cleric Castiel. I was like, okay, I kind of got an idea, but I'll let you fill in the gaps as well, and. I honestly had a blast when he did that the first time around. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it again.
Yeah, and that's all you can really ask for. It's also a great tool for role-playing potential. Why does Letter look like Mint Berry Crunch from South Park? Oh.
Yeah, so, okay, so I know we talked a little bit about the characters, so let's go maybe a little bit more into detail, again, without avoiding spoilers. So, I know we talked a little bit about my character, so, Letter, the little Mint Berry Crunch, as you like to call him. So, basically, we mentioned before, he's a misfortune bringer rogue, so he focuses a lot on hexing and such, but another big thing, and this is more specifically to the race that he's playing, and this is another thing that he picked up from Grim Hollow. He gets an ability, he can basically plane jump. He actually, during our Section 0, he actually killed a guy by literally dragging him to, an ethereal plane and leaving him there. So he's like, yeah, okay, you can't hurt anybody, but there's no food or anything, so fucking starve.
Yeah.
I mean, it was freaking cruel. But that's
it's like what happened with Soundwave at the end of Transformers Prime when he was sent to the Shadow Zone by Jack and Miko. Only Soundwave dies.
Yeah, so that's what the purple on the art is. It's supposed to kind of show, okay, this is the weird plane shifting shit that he can do.
Typically, it's a type of race, quote-unquote, add-on called the Disembodied. Essentially, they're these people who were once part of this great city in Etheris, where, I believe it's called... it was in the middle of the Borak Empire, I think? Anyway. So... Letter's character was a part of the civilization. Although his base race is Weshelkin. Think changelings, when fairies replace children with their own fairy creatures that resemble children. But this particular Weshelkind Ricket was actually part of this cataclysm that created the Disembodied. So he's kind of literally caught in between two worlds and, glitching at will, but glitching.
Yeah, so it's think think Little Nightmares 2 crossed with Gino from Super Mario RPG.
Crossed with Pinocchio.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, because not even we know the specifics on Letter's backstory. But I would like to say, since he's sticking so close to the Weshelkin archetype, I would say he wants to be a real boy.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. So Brian. So Brian is playing a Dragonborn Paladin. And so for those I believe I touched a little bit, but Dragonborn, so this is one of the official races just from the player's handbook.
Basic Skyrim.
Yeah, you're you're pretty much a walking dragon, just without the wings. But depending on what color dragon you are, actually determines what element your breath attack is and what you're resistant to. So you can be a fire dragon, you can be an ice dragon, you can be a lightning dragon, you can shoot acid. So it's depending on what color you're gonna be. But I believe he picked the black dragon which makes him a fire base. So
Technically, Black Dragon spit acid, but we ruled it because his character does breathe fire. We ruled it as yeah, he is a Black Dragonborn, but he breathes fire instead of acid.
oh, okay, yeah. So yep. So he has that ability. And then yeah. So as far as what kind of paladin, so he's Oath of Glory. I admit I'm not too familiar with Oath of Glory because I think that came in like what is it like the
Oh God. Let me look
what?
it up real fast.
Yeah, what was the name? I know it was a recent book that came out, but it was a book where
Tasha's Cauldron and everything.
no, the one before that. It's the one where it was all based on like Greek mythology.
Oh, okay.
I think
no, it is in Tasha's Cauldron and everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm forgetting. I don't know the name of the book specifically, but
yeah, but
I know what you're talking.
Yeah, I believe that was what brought. I want to say that was what brought Oath of Glory officially in, because I know Tasha's was bringing in stuff that was in previous texts, and they're just bringing them back in. Yeah. But I could be wrong because I have Tasha's. I don't have that other one, like the Greek mythology book. I don't have that one.
Yeah, which has its own cool things too. But anyway, I have the subclass here.
Yeah, so
Oath of Glory, as it says on the bin, it's a subclass that deals with a lot of you achieve glory through deeds of heroism, and you even get special spells with this oath, like Guiding Bolt, Heroism, Enhanced Ability, Magic Weapon. So your job is to essentially bolster your allies by helping them reach greater heights as heroes. So really, it's like, yeah, we're Sonic heroes or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's like you're being like a Greek hero.
Well, yeah, in one manner.
Yeah.
In the context of this, he does have a god of sorts that he's fighting for. So that's one aspect of his oath and why he wants to elevate that glory whenever he can. So yeah.
All right. Okay, so then I guess we'll just so we'll go around on the image here. So Master TP. Master TP is playing a race known as a tiefling, which is just basically a walking devil. Like, they have horns and tails and everything. So it's like, I mean, that doesn't necessarily make them evil, because TP's character is very much a good guy. She is not evil whatsoever. You know, she's very, from the way he was playing her in our session 0, she's very quiet, kind of shy, but she's also very protective. She's like, all throughout that battle, she was just like, I have got to keep everybody alive. I am not going to even bother attacking the enemy. I am here to keep everybody alive. So she's not evil by any means, but she does have horns. She does have a tail, and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, which is why she's wearing the hood. Like, think Hellboy from Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's half demon, yet he's a good guy. Or Raven from Teen Titan.
Yeah. So that being said, I guess we might as well bring this up. So, a little thing that TP loves to do when he makes his D&D characters, he bases them off of Pokemon. And if the hood wasn't a dead giveaway, her name is Mimi.
And she has a last name.
Yeah.
What other Pokemon do you know starts with Mimi?
It's like, that's what the design is based on. So, I mean, we did that in the Abode too. Like, the character he played, her name was Lele. And it was like, she was, yeah, she's a like a
Divine
fae.
soul sorceress.
I believe so. Like a divine soul sorceress. Her race was technically fae, but character design and everything. Yeah, it was based off of Tapu Lele. I mean, like, she looked like she came from friggin' Hawaii. Like, she was very Polynesian based. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. That's what TP likes to do with his characters. So, yeah, we're
Being from Digimon is also another thing, but yeah. I only knew Mimi for a session, but if anything were to happen to her, I'd murder everyone in Barovia and then myself. Fair.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah, we got Mimikyu in the party.
Yeah.
Okay, but
another thing too is that TP is actually playing the type of cleric that Dani was in the Abode campaign.
yeah, a life cleric. So a life cleric is just basically some like enhanced healing. Like if you just want to be the heal bot, that's the type of cleric that you're going to be. So all like your special abilities and special unique spells, it's going to be tailored toward, big heals and buffs.
I can heal people, I can turn undead, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like we said, we got we got Mimikyu in the party, but Mimikyu is a healer and not like this, like, fiendish little thing that we love to think of him as.
No.
Yeah.
Like, not every tiefling is like Jester, and, TP's character, Mimi, is certainly, an example of what a tiefling, could be without that personality, but is falling under those, stereotypes.
Yeah. Alright, so that being said, Bone Slayer. So, as if it wasn't enough that we have Mimikyu in the party, Bone Slayer's character is known as Sugash Belmondo. It is fucking deliberate.
It is deliberate. We're gonna fight a vampire. It was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much it was like, as soon as we were saying, okay, yeah, let's make characters, we're gonna do Curse of Strahd, Bone Slayer's like, I am being the Belmont of the group. And I mean, literally, like, because the kind of character that he's playing is a Kensei monk. Kensei monks, like, because other classes of monks, you can either be like, proficient in fist fighting, you can be like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you can bend the elements to your will.
You can be one Jackie Chan movie when you're drunk.
Yeah, you can be a drunken monk. Astral, like the astral monk. Basically, JoJo, you have a stand. Kensei monk is basically the monk who specializes in weaponry. And yeah, Sugash is pretty much, like, he uses whips and shit. So it's like, and the funny thing is, like, he's a half-orc. And yeah, it's like, it's so funny because Bone Slayer even was trying to pull the accent off. Like, I mean, it sounded like we have Trevor Belmont in our party. It's fucking great.
Yeah, exactly. And his weapon is actually, well, it's a whip scarf, but essentially it's like the Belmont's whip.
Yeah, so it's like, again, we don't know too much about, like, backstory or anything, so, can't really comment on that. It's just, when you see the name, like, Sugash Belmondo, it's just like, yeah. This is like the one campaign where that's actually kind of appropriate. We kind of have to.
And don't worry, one day you guys will hear that line being uttered, "You must be the Belmondo." It will happen.
Yeah.
Just gotta wait.
It's like,
vanquish the darkness? Perhaps he does.
Alright, so then we'll move on to Jen's character here. So her character, so she and the other one in our party, Marie Dana.
You can just call her by her character, Tori.
Yeah, it's like, so the two of them, it's funny because the way they're playing each other off as opposites. Because right now, they are the only ones, I believe, right now that have multi-classed. So,
Yeah.
Jen's character is named Kira. She has, like, 2 levels in Warlock and 1 in Sorceress. And then the other one, Corey, she has 2 levels in Sorcerer and 1 level in Warlock. So, I mean, they are bouncing off of each other.
Yeah. Another thing we did too is that so there's a warlock spell called Eldritch Blast. It's really it's a really good spell, especially for warlocks. Causes 1d10 force damage. You can contact multiple targets the more you level up.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
it's like Eldritch Blast is like, and I believe it's a cantrip, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
a
so
cantrip. A really good cantrip.
Yeah, it's one of the best cantrips in the game, and it's a skill that's usually, unless you have like other feats or something that gives you the ability to, like, you know, go into other class spells. Ideally, it's a spell that is unique to the Warlock class.
Yeah. So, Dani, you actually found a homebrew rule that basically reflavors Eldritch Blast to fit your deity better. So,
yeah, because
Kira and Corey's deity is Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. So, what we did is that we tailored Eldritch Blast to, instead of causing force damage, causes radiant damage instead. And another caveat is that if they hit an ally with their Eldritch Blast, they can heal them instead of dealing damage.
Yeah, because I always like that idea of, like, tailoring the Eldritch Blast, because, you know, because normally it just takes force damage, and force damage, I think, is just neutral magic and shit. But I really like the idea of, like, you know, oh, well, depending on what your pact is, like, you know, what exactly are you getting your power from, I would like to think that would have some kind of an effect on the Eldritch Blast. Like, you know, there's a class of Warlock where it's like you've made a pact with the devil. So when you expect that maybe, like, you know, the Eldritch Blast is fire-based, there's a class that maybe you've made a pact with, like, a fairy. So it's like, I would think that should maybe offer some kind of a weird status effect, like a charm or something. You know, yeah. I like the idea of really flavoring and tailoring the Eldritch Blasts, and it's like, plus I think it would also help, like, you know, yeah, if you have 2 Warlocks that have different pacts, I would like to think, like, you know, that's just another fun way to differentiate between them is, yeah, they use different Eldritch Blasts.
Yeah, so we definitely incorporated that homebrew rule into our games, and it's just made the spell even better than it already was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's Kira is playing more. Kira's more of the Warlock. Now, a Warlock. I played a Warlock very briefly. Like, I think for, like, a campaign, like, that literally lasted 2 sessions, and then it just never progressed anywhere. And I was actually an Archfey Warlock. So, but the cool thing about the Warlocks is that, you know, while, okay, they may not have a whole lot of spells to them, but you can have, like, all these, like, Eldritch invocations, as they call them. Basically custom features. It's like, Warlock is so customizable, because you can give your Warlock all kinds of crazy shit to, like, you know, really make them stand out. So it's like, that I think is pretty cool. Again, I'm not quite sure what exactly Jen's got in store for Kira, but basically, you know, from what it sounds like, from what we saw in the session 0, she's basically the backup healer. So Mimi is going to be the primary healer, but Kira, she's going to be another good one. So yeah, in this party of 7, we essentially have 2 dedicated healers. You know, Brian can technically do a little bit of healing too, but he's not really going to focus too much on it.
Yeah. Although I will definitely make it a point to make sure he gets more comfortable with spellcasting, considering he's playing a half-caster. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then, meanwhile, the last character, so this cute little lizard-looking creature that we see here, her name is Corey. Now, that creature that she's playing as is known as a kobold. And kobolds, yeah, they're kind of like little lizard people. Usually you see kobolds as, like, yeah, regular enemies that are very common in Dungeons and Dragons. They're actually, like, they're pretty weak. Like, I think, like, if I recall correctly, the lore with kobolds is they're weak by themselves, but, you know, if you happen to run into, like, a pack of them, then it's like, you know, strength in numbers.
Exactly.
And yeah, but then there was a book I think called like Volo's Guide to Monsters or something that was like, oh, if you want to play some of these monsters, you know, here's the way to do it. And yeah, one of those is a kobold, and that's what she made. So yeah, this is our adorable little lizard creature, and like I said, she's the sorceress. So really, out of all of us, it's like she and Kira, like Kira is a secondary healer, but like really like Corey and Kira are pretty much the magic casters of this group. Like they're the mages.
Actually, here's a real ability that kobolds have if you play as them. Grovel, cower, and beg. As an action on your turn, you can cower pathetically to distract nearby foes. Until the end of your next turn, your allies gain advantage on attack rolls against enemies within 10 feet of you that you can see. Obviously, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest, but holy crap.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, so imagine this little lizard basically acting like a going out into the battlefield, acting like a wimp to to basically like, you know, catch them off guard. And it's like, okay, now they're disadvantaged. Now we all just bum rush. I mean, it's gonna be crazy.
Hey, Mr. Maniac, the more you mention Frank,
the more he will approach you.
Oh god, Frank. Yeah, okay, yeah. Context for that joke. So there's a character in the abode named Frank that he showed up periodically, and all he wanted to do was sell hot dogs and sausages. And we just loved this guy so much that he kind of becomes a reoccurring character in Jordan's campaigns. So it's like, don't be surprised if you hear, like, you know, like randomly you just hear, like, yeah, like, Jordan, if you want to do the voice for Frank.
Oh my god, okay. I need to get into character.
Do you want hot dogs or sausages? 5 silver. Same thing.
Yeah. And don't ask for buns.
Did you say bun? Yeah. So he's kind of been a reoccurring NPC, and I decided to incorporate him into my graphic novel as well because his Frankfurt's memory needs to live on forever.
He is a lizard folk. He is proud of his.
So yeah, that's pretty funny. Let me see. Corey looks more like a bird than a lizard, though that could be the blurriness of the image. Well, if it's the blurriness for all, it's probably more so YouTube, but
the video is a little fuzzy.
Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, it's fine. This is more or less an announcement to keep everyone up to speed. You'll see these in better quality as tomorrow's session goes on.
Yeah, I believe actually, if I recall correctly, when Dana was creating Corey, I believe didn't she base the Corey's kobold design after a gold dragon?
Yes, actually. Actually, another thing that kobolds get is that, depending on their ancestry, I believe it's called, they gain, I think, 1 extra hit point per level up. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. But
you can also see that Corey lost a horn, in this image, and it'll tie into her backstory, but essentially, Corey and Kira were both childhood friends, but Corey was sent away to war, as they were just growing apart, she was in the middle of the battlefield, and she fought hard, but she did lose a horn.
So did you say bun, Jordan? Did you say bun?
I will be watching you closely.
God damn it, Frank. It's like, you see what we mean? It's just, we just love this character, and like, it was literally just like this like stupid little merchant that you made, and we just had so much fun with him that he's now become a reoccurring character.
Yeah, like, it's pretty much a rule that Frank has to be in the game with these guys at some point.
It's like, he even had a cameo appearance in like the Eclepia one shot that we did. Like, I think it was like, yeah, we were in like a village or something, and you're talking about how
we're in the Kingdom of Kirkwall, basically the main kingdom city-state of Eclepia.
Yeah,
and he was there selling his wares.
Yeah, it's like you were describing, like, okay, like, you know, the kinds of, like, shops and such that we're passing on the street, and it's like, all of a sudden we just hear, you know, hot dogs, sausages, hot
dogs, sausages, please!
And, like, that was it. That was all you had to say, and we were like, Frank! So.
Frank fact. I am 100 meters from your current location. Approaching lap. Start running. Stop running!
Oh god, it's like I would not be surprised if you somehow managed to find a way to get Frank in the Curse of Strahd. So.
Oh, don't worry. I have a pretty good idea of where I want to put him.
Oh god.
As insane as he is, he's not a bad person. He cares a lot about people. He makes sure they're well fed.
Yeah, it's just he cares very much about the quality of his hot dogs and sausages.
Yeah. It's just that common wasn't his first language, so...
Alright. So I'm trying to think, was there really anything else, specific for Curse of Strahd that, we need to talk about?
I would say, given that it's a horror-themed campaign, I would say be prepared for, any moments of mindfuckery or any freaky moments that may happen, you know, very pervasive and uncomfortable moments. Like that was one of the things that we discussed as a group, that you know, since this is going to be an extreme campaign, and given that Strahd is the big bad, there are going to be some things that are a little uncomfy, so that's just a part of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, it's like, because, you know, fortunately, you know, because Jordan, you know, as a good DM, you know, should do, you know, he came to us and was like, you know, yeah, like, what are like your guys' limits, especially when it comes to things like horror. And it's like, I think for the most part, we were like, you know, obviously don't take things like too far, but, you know, for the most part, it's just, you know, yeah, man, if you want to be scary, go on ahead and be scary. I mean, you guys watching, you've known for a while on this channel, I love me some good horror. So I'm all in.
Yeah. That being said, we aren't going to throw in things like, you know, not safe for work stuff like sex and stuff. Like, no. That's going too far.
No, but
my ideal thing about writing about sex is imply it. Don't outright show it, because no one wants to see, you know, people interfacing.
And let alone with our cast of characters, because I mean, look at our cast of characters. Kira is the one human. Everybody else is some other kind of creature. So it's like,
yeah.
we do not
literally modeled after a child. So
we have a child puppet, a little lizard dragon, a half orc, a devil tiefling. We have a walking dragon and a hulking vulture. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and that shit ain't happening.
If there's gonna be romance, we'd rather have them be with other people of, you know, similar races.
Well, it's like, well, I think it's more so like age is probably what, you know, would get me more. It's like, because it's like, again, like, you know, I know there's people that they're like really squeamish about having romance in their D&Ds, like whether it's between players or even players and NPCs. I know there's people that get really squeamish about it. For the most part, we usually don't go too much into detail. Like, I mean, we'll give some time set, if we feel like we need to. I mean, we did that with the Abode. Can we expect that in Curse of Strahd? I don't know. I would like to think that given the fact that this is a horror game, probably not. But who knows? Stranger things have happened in D&D, so I don't know.
Yeah. Like, the way we handled romance in the Abode, I would say our standout example is Brian's character Riona. Based off of his character Riona in Rise to Superior. Go follow him on the Rise to Superior on Twitter. And my character from my graphic novel, Dora Caradwen, she was a cleric NPC that they saved in the earlier session. I think we handled the romance as realistically as we could and as naturally as we could. Like, there was even an entire segment where they were just going on a date together, and it was just Brian and I role-playing as our characters, being, our characters.
Right.
And letting things fall into place as they may.
Right. But again, just wanted to put that out there because I know there's some people that get, like, real iffy about, like, ew, romance in my D&Ds. It's like, is it possible? Yeah. Do I anticipate it happening? Most likely not, but who knows? Like I said, stranger things have happened in D&D.
Stranger Things, that's a horror series.
So Jordan, who is the main villain in this D&D game? So this is Strahd. So the thing about Strahd, and again, I don't even know too much about Strahd. But one of the things that I remember hearing, and this is actually one of the reasons why a lot of people really like this game, Curse of Strahd, it's the fact that Strahd is not just the villain. He's not going to be like, he's the final boss and he only shows up at the end. He likes to show up all throughout the campaign, and he'll come in, he interacts with the party, but he loves to, like, toy with them, taunt them, and it's like, try to, like, get into their heads and just fuck with them. So it's like, so this is a guy that he's gonna make himself known very early on, and we're gonna keep running into him over and over and over again, most likely because he's gonna be following us, or he's gonna be watching us, and he's gonna be like, I feel like fucking with you guys, so hi!
Yeah, yes, Strahd is a vampire, and he's a very powerful one at that, because Barovia, for those who don't know, is his realm. He rules it, and he also controls it. Does he say what is a man? I don't know. Is a man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's the big bad, and the trick with Strahd is that to roleplay as him, you don't want to show him too much, otherwise the party is just going to expect him to show up and not be afraid of him. The thing with Strahd is that he's powerful. He is a difficult opponent. So if you're going to take back Barovia, you're gonna have to fight for it. And from what I've seen of Arcane Arcade's demonstration of the boss battle with Strahd himself, yeah, he has some nasty tricks up his sleeve. Like, even if you manage to get him to 0 HP, you're still not done. Things like that.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, he's very much a threat, very much a guy to take seriously. But I think it's just the fact that, again, this is not the kind of story where it's like, oh, you heard about Strahd, but it's like the first time we're meeting him is final battle. So it's like, oh, hi, we're meeting you, now we're gonna fucking kill you. It's like, no, that's not the kind of villain that Strahd is, Like, he's the kind of guy that shows up periodically and it makes his presence known. Think Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. You know, that's kind of like what Strahd is going to be like. At least that's kind of the interpretation that I'm getting at, is like...
No, you're right on the money.
Yeah, because,
very charismatic.
Yeah, very charismatic, but also think like, but yeah, like, if you've seen my Let's Play of Final Fantasy VII, let alone the Final Fantasy VII remake, if you remember, Sephiroth likes to pop in every now and again and taunt Cloud. That's what Strahd's gonna be doing, but he's gonna be doing that to all of us.
Yeah, and if anyone tries to fight him, you'll have to see how that plays out.
Right. Yeah. And now, bear in mind, we're starting at level 3. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, a bunch of level 3. We're nowhere near ready.
Yeah, which is why, you guys... another reason I started you guys at level 3 is not only do you get your subclasses early, but also it's to avoid something called the Death House.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you. I just gotta say thank you, because, again, I said it 1,000 times, don't know shit about Curse of Strahd. This is the first time I'm playing it. That being said, though, one of the criticisms I hear about Curse of Strahd is that the game begins with something that is known as the Death House, and I have not heard one good thing about the fucking Death House.
Yeah, super unbalanced, holds no relevance to the plot, and, it's just a nightmare for level 1 players. Like, you can actually, pull a TPK, total party kill, in the Death House alone.
Yeah, so...
Arcade demonstrated this, where, one of the party members outright died, to a fucking broom.
So it's like...
No, a Spectre.
Yes, yeah, so the game just starts. You haven't even really gotten into Barovia, and you're already dead.
No, I think the Death House is in Barovia Village, but, it can be wherever.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of get what I'm saying. It's like, because, I mean, I would like to think that, okay, once we step into Barovia and we're on Strahd's doorstep, it's like, okay, we want to get into the gothic horror vampire shit, and we die in a fucking spooky house. That's where it's like, I'd be fucking pissed.
Exactly. Actually, I am thinking of ways to fix it or revitalize it, but
or even
the main thing about it is that Death House, as it is, needs a lot of fixes.
Okay. Yeah, but I think suffice it to say, we are not doing Death House.
Yeah, we're not going there. At least not yet.
Okay.
I'm still trying to think of ways to incorporate it.
Oh, so Death House. So Death House might be something we visit later on.
Yeah, might be later on, but I still need to work on it.
Yeah, but that's not how we're starting Curse of Strahd.
No.
Okay, yeah, because
you're starting somewhere completely different.
Okay, cool. Because
you're already strong enough as it is, so we need to do something else to get you up a level.
Okay.
Obviously, we're not going to level you up at the end of the session. Like, God no.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my lesson by leveling up by milestones. Like, leveling up by milestone should be something like after you defeat a boss, or once every 5 sessions or so, then you level up. Like, I didn't get that when doing the abode, and I thought it was just like, I reward you guys whenever you do good, or at the end of a session when I feel like it. That was a very blasé way of going about it, and I learned my lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's
you guys got too powerful too quickly, and that just made it even more confusing for me as a dungeon master. Like, don't do what I did when dungeon mastering and going head first into it, because you're gonna learn the hard way. I'm grateful that I learned this way, but I wish I didn't.
Right, but that's okay. At least we're learning, and whatever we learn in Curse of Strahd, we'll be taking to the abode when we get back to it.
Yeah, if we get back to it, but we will one but not today.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine dying to a freaking broom. Yeah.
All right. So I guess that being said, I probably should have asked this way earlier, but how long exactly is Curse of Strahd?
Like all campaigns, it's as long as you make it out to be. But the main thing is that I think a good level cap for you guys is either levels 9 or 10. Because that should have you guys be strong enough to face Strahd. But even then, he's still gonna be a challenge for you because, again, he's Strahd.
Right.
But the main thing is, once you guys get what you need and get to the levels you need, all that matters is going to Ravenloft and trying your luck at defeating Strahd.
Okay.
But no, everything will make sense once we get into the first session.
Alrighty. Yes. Okay. So I guess.
Varies, exactly.
Okay. So I guess that being said, so I can't really give like a good timeline or something as to being like, okay, this is where, we're going to be starting tomorrow, so expect Curse of Strahd to end at this date. I can't really give a date for how long this is going to be.
Yeah, you can't really place a date on D&D games. They just sort of end when it feels appropriate, really.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. But, alright, no problemo. So that being said, so like I said, Curse of Strahd, we're going to be starting this tomorrow night at 7. As far as future sessions, they are going to be on Saturdays, and it's going to be same time, so 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays.
Once every Saturday.
Okay, so that was actually going to be my next question. What is this going to be something you want to do every Saturday, or do you want to do this every 2 weeks, like what we did with the Abode?
Yeah, once every 2 weeks, because, that way Brian can...
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the reason I tailored it that way, the once every 2 weeks thing. So that way, not only do I have time to prepare for a new session, but also so people like Brian can make it.
Okay.
Because you know how work has been murder on him recently?
Yeah.
Tomorrow and the next day after that are his only days off.
Oh, wow.
Guys. So, once per week. Sometimes it's Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sometimes it's just Thursday. His job is like super chaotic, so I figured that Saturday would be a good pace for him.
Alrighty.
Not to sound like I tailor my campaigns around him. No. Like, he's my best friend. I love him so much, but not to the point where he's the deciding factor. For the most part, everyone seemed free enough, which is awesome. And funny thing, we have 2 Australians in our party, so the reason why we start so late is so they can wake up in their mornings.
Yeah, so like
7 p.m. for us is, well...
Yeah, it's morning. It's first thing in the morning for them. I mean, they're literally waking up, eating breakfast, and they're playing D&D with us. Well, for the rest of us, this is the last thing we're doing at night. So it's like, yay! Fuck you, time zones!
In a perfect world, we would have our campaign a little earlier in the day, like maybe 5:30, 6:30 p.m. But
yeah, that's like asking them, hey, can you wake up at 3 in the morning to play D&D with us? That's
it's like graveyard shit for them.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that to them. We love them too much.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so every other Saturday at 7 o'clock is when we'll do Curse of Strahd. Maybe like in between we can maybe just do like chill chats or something, being like, maybe like kind of like talk about the previous session, or we can do something else, like
our own version of Tox Machina.
Or something, like, just so that it's like, keep it fresh in everybody's minds.
Yeah, like, I can't guarantee you I'm particularly going to be very talkative, because, well, by nature, I'm a very introspective person, so I have a lot to say, but no room to say it perfectly. Because like Dani here has been doing most of the talking, even though I'm the DM.
Right.
Makes me look stupid in comparison.
Oh no. Well, tomorrow, like come tomorrow, I'm gonna be in arc mode. Like I'm going in bird mode. So it's like,
You're gonna bird up.
bird.
As Jen would put it.
Yeah, Jen wants to start so that whenever Arc goes into a rage, it's gonna be Arc is going to bird up. Like that's apparently she wants that to be a meme.
Yeah. Of
But
course, you gotta be careful with things like that. Like, don't force running gags.
I know. But still, it's like, it's like we can maybe do we can sit for like an hour or two and we can talk about the previous session. If anyone in the audience, if you guys have questions or if you want clarifications, this, let's just say for example, Brian's character did this ability, can you explain what the hell did he do? So if you guys have any questions or if you want clarifications or something, that's probably going to be that's probably going to be the one time where I'll be we'll really be able to interact with the audience. Because it's unfortunately when we're playing, we're going to be focusing more so on the game rather than, trying to answer questions and such in the audience. I mean, still feel free to...
It just breaks the flow of the game. We love you guys, but it's just chatting with you directly while playing the game is a little bit impossible. So the other Saturday for when we're not playing could be a great opportunity for us to, get more in touch with each other.
Yeah. So that would probably be the best time to do all that. Okay then. All right. So in that case, so expect D&D stuff to be happening on Saturdays now. Like I said. Game sessions are going to happen every other week. The weeks that we are not doing game sessions, we'll do chill streams. That's actually good time that we're starting to do this now because we're going to be we're going straight into Spooky Needle Geeks relatively soon.
Yeah, very appropriate.
Yeah, so it's I can actually successfully say that I will be contributing to Spooky Needle Geeks this year by showcasing some Curse of Strahd. Because...
The amount of time Jordan bonks me with his DM hammer. Well, I'm gonna bunk you guys all with DM hammers, because if there's something that sounds a little, fucky-wucky, I'm gonna say, no, you don't do that. Do something else.
Yeah.
Because I want all of you guys to have a decent experience. My aim is to not nerf you. It's more to rein you in because you're all trying to do this together. You're not doing it for yourself.
Yeah. But but suffice it to say, Spooky Needle Geeks is going to be happening again this year. I know it kind of got cut short last year because some shit happened on Ryan's end, but suffice it to say, we're going to make up for it this year. Ryan's already got some games that he wants to do for Spooky Needle Geeks. I don't remember everything that he said. I know one of the ones he wants to do, and I've been waiting for him to do it. Is Little Nightmares 2, and we're gonna do it just wasn't last year, but I believe it was the year before when he played Little Nightmares and DLC for the first time. He'll be streaming him playing the game, but I'm also playing the game on my own console with him. Just because I love the Little Nightmares series, and I love Little Nightmares 2 way more than number 1. And number 1 was a lot of fun. So it's I can't wait to get him into Little Nightmares 2.
And you may see me around here and there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
come October, I'll probably be playing Metroid Dread since that's coming out.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Metroid Dread has plenty of horror themes as well, so that's probably what I'll be doing. If not that, then probably Super Ghouls and Ghosts, much to my chagrin.
Oh god.
Since I already did Ghosts and Goblins years ago, I haven't posted the VOD yet because I keep forgetting. But I never have to play Ghosts and Goblins ever again. Screw that game so hard. It's terrible. Don't play it. Don't buy it. Don't look at it. Don't even acknowledge it existed. Super Ghouls and Ghosts though, and the recent sequel that came out, those are fine.
Okay. Alrighty.
But yeah, I'll probably just be playing Metroid Dread on my end.
Alrighty. But yeah, like, when Ryan's ready to bring out some more info on Spooky Needle Geeks, he will. That'll most likely be on Twitter. He'll probably do like a community post or something as well. But when Ryan's ready to talk and get started on Spooky Needle Geeks, he will. But suffice it to say, this time it's like, okay, Ryan is not doing this alone now. Yes, he's going to be streaming games, but I can now say, hey, that's cool. I'll be with him on those streams. With all the Let's Plays, but I'm also going to be contributing to Spooky Needle Geeks now because because Curse of Strahd's gonna run into it.
Strahd Battle Encounter Ghosts and Goblins. No!
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Fun times for everyone.
Alrighty. Okay, but yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Alrighty. Alright, so once again, starting this tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you for coming and listening to us just kind of bullshitting and hearing what we kind of got in store for how we're going to handle Curse of Strahd. And we will see you guys tomorrow night.
Spooky DN Deedle Geeks. Oh god.
The-
We're not using that name.
Yeah.
Also, Bones! Bones!
Alright. Alright, so see you guys tomorrow.